There's a silence that precedes true understanding, a stillness where the clamor of the world recedes and the whispers of your own soul begin to emerge. We live in an age of dazzling surfaces, of curated identities, of endless performance. From the moment we draw our first breath, we are given a name, then a role, then a script. We are taught what to desire, how to behave, even what to feel. And in this intricate dance of societal expectation, we often construct a fortress around ourselves, a meticulously crafted facade designed to protect, to impress, to belong. But what if this very fortress, this mask we wear, is the heaviest burden of all? What if, beneath the carefully constructed layers of who we think we should be, lies a vast, untamed wilderness, a genuine, profound self yearning to be known, to be seen, to be lived? This journey, this profound excavation of the soul, is not for the faint of heart. It demands courage, a willingness to descend into the depths, to confront not just the beauty, but the beast within. For centuries, mystics and philosophers have grappled with this elusive truth, that the external world is but a reflection of the internal. And nowhere is this truth more powerfully articulated than in the insights of Carl Jung, a man who dared to map the uncharted territories of the human psyche, revealing a universe more vast and mysterious than any star-filled night. He understood that our conscious awareness, that sliver of light we inhabit, is merely the tip of an immense iceberg. Beneath the surface churns the unconscious, a boundless ocean of forgotten memories, buried emotions, and primordial wisdom. It is the repository of all that we have repressed, denied, or simply never acknowledged. Think of it as the grand archive of your being, holding not just your personal history, but the echoes of humanity's entire journey. Consider the alchemists of old, toiling in their laboratories, seeking to transmute base metals into gold. They understood on a deeper, symbolic level that their external work mirrored an internal process, the refinement of the soul, the transformation of the crude self into something divine. Their crucibles were not just vessels for chemicals, they were metaphors for the intense pressure required to break down old forms and bring forth new ones. We too are alchemists in our own lives, whether we recognize it or not. The unconscious is our alembic, a place where disparate elements of our being are constantly interacting, shaping, and influencing our conscious experience. Every forgotten dream, every inexplicable impulse, every fleeting emotion that defies rational explanation, these are the subtle manifestations of this hidden realm. Sigmund Freud, Jung's controversial predecessor and one-time mentor, illuminated the personal unconscious, the realm of individual forgotten experiences and repressed desires. He showed us how early childhood experiences, traumas, and unfulfilled urges could shape our neuroses and dictate our behaviors in ways we weren't even aware of. But Jung, with his sweeping vision, went further. He posited the existence of something far more ancient, far more universal, the collective unconscious. Imagine a subterranean river flowing beneath the individual streams of our personal lives, connecting us all, not just to each other, but to the very dawn of human experience. This is the collective unconscious, a shared repository of primal patterns, universal symbols, and archaic images that he termed archetypes. These archetypes are not learned. They are inherited predispositions, universal blueprints embedded in the very structure of our psyche. They are the recurring themes in myths, religions, and fairy tales across all cultures and all times. The hero, the great mother, the wise old man, the trickster, the shadow. They are the fundamental patterns of human experience, constantly seeking expression in our lives. Think of the recurring narrative of the hero's journey, from Odysseus to Luke Skywalker. Why does this story resonate so deeply within us, across millennia and cultures? Because it taps into an archetypal pattern embedded in our collective psyche. We recognize the call to adventure, the trials, the allies, the descent into darkness, and the eventual return with newfound wisdom. This is not just a story we enjoy. It is a story we embody, whether consciously or not. Every challenge we face, every personal quest we undertake is, in essence, a variation of this ancient archetypal drama unfolding within our own lives. And often, the most significant encounters on this journey are not with external adversaries, but with the figures that reside within our own unconscious. The shadow, for instance. This is perhaps one of Jung's most potent and misunderstood concepts. It is not inherently evil, though it often houses what we deem undesirable. Our repressed anger, our unacknowledged jealousy, our hidden insecurities, our darkest impulses. The shadow is everything we deny about ourselves, everything we deem unacceptable to our conscious ego and to society. It is the part of us we exile to the dungeon of our psyche, hoping it will simply disappear. But like any banished thing, it does not vanish. It festers, it grows in the dark, and eventually it seeks expression, often in unpredictable and destructive ways. Nietzsche famously declared, "He who fights with monsters might take care lest he thereby become a monster. And if you gaze long enough into an abyss, the abyss will also gaze into you." This chilling wisdom perfectly encapsulates the danger of denying the shadow. The more we suppress it, the more power it gains over us, manifesting in projection, seeing our own flaws and darkness in others, or in sudden irrational outbursts that leave us bewildered by our own behavior. Imagine a painter who refuses to acknowledge certain colors on their palette, deeming them ugly or inappropriate. Their masterpiece will be incomplete, lacking depth and nuance. Similarly, to deny our shadow is to deny a part of our essential humanity. It's like trying to be illuminated without ever having experienced darkness. The path to wholeness, to authenticity, demands that we turn and face this discarded aspect of ourselves. It demands that we acknowledge its existence, understand its origins, and integrate its raw energy into our conscious personality. This doesn't mean unleashing our destructive impulses. It means consciously owning them, understanding why they arise, and finding constructive outlets for their power. Acknowledging our capacity for anger, for instance, allows us to channel that energy into assertiveness, into standing up for what is right, rather than letting it erupt in uncontrolled rage. This integration is a lifelong process, a continuous dialogue with the unconscious. It happens not through logical reasoning alone, but through the language of the psyche, dreams. For Jung, dreams were not random neurological firings or mere wish fulfillment as Freud often interpreted them. They were the direct communications from the unconscious, rich in symbolism, guiding us towards greater self-awareness and healing. They are the nightly dispatches from the depths, revealing what our conscious mind has overlooked, denied, or suppressed. To disregard our dreams is to ignore the urgent messages from our deepest self, messages that often hold the key to our psychological imbalances and the path to resolving our internal conflicts. Think of the recurring dream of being chased or falling or being naked in public. These are not arbitrary images. They are symbolic representations of underlying anxieties, fears, or feelings of vulnerability that our conscious mind may be unwilling to confront. Each symbol in a dream is a facet of our psyche, a piece of the puzzle of who we are. Understanding these symbols requires a shift in perspective, moving beyond literal interpretation to embrace the metaphorical language of the unconscious. It's like learning a new language, one spoken not with words, but with images, emotions, and sensations. This deep listening to the unconscious, this engagement with our dreams, is a vital step in the process Jung called individuation. This is not about becoming an individual in the superficial sense of standing out from the crowd. Individuation is a profound psychological journey, the lifelong process of becoming the unique, whole, and integrated person you are meant to be. It is the realization of your authentic self, the blossoming of your full potential, not based on external expectations, but on the unfolding of your inner truth. It is the journey from a fragmented, ego-driven existence to a centered, self-realized life. The ego, our conscious sense of self, plays a crucial role in our daily lives. It is our anchor in reality, our decision maker, our navigator of the external world. But the ego, when it becomes inflated or too rigid, can also be a barrier to individuation. It identifies with the persona, that public face we present to the world, the roles we play, the expectations we fulfill. The persona is essential for social interaction. It allows us to function in society without revealing every raw impulse. But when we become completely identified with our persona, when we mistake the mask for our true face, we lose touch with the deeper, more authentic aspects of ourselves. We become actors in our own lives, forever performing, forever seeking external validation, and forever feeling an underlying sense of emptiness. The danger lies in believing the mask is us. When the corporate executive, the devoted parent, the charismatic leader becomes so absorbed in their role that they lose touch with the vulnerable human being beneath, they risk falling into a profound psychological void. The greater the gap between the persona and the authentic self, the greater the internal tension, the greater the feeling of unease that something essential is missing. This tension often manifests as anxiety, depression, or a pervasive sense of meaninglessness, even when external success is achieved. The journey of individuation, therefore, involves a conscious and often uncomfortable dismantling of the rigid persona, allowing the genuine self to emerge. It's about distinguishing between who you are and who you appear to be. This is a process of stripping away layers, not adding them. It's about recognizing the intricate dance between your personal experiences and the universal patterns that underpin all human life. The collective unconscious, that deep well of archetypes and ancestral wisdom, provides the backdrop against which our individual drama unfolds. It is the source code of human experience, giving meaning and context to our personal struggles and triumphs. Think of the ancient Greek tragedies, where characters are not just individuals, but embodiments of universal human dilemmas, hubris, fate, destiny. These stories resonate because they tap into the timeless archetypal patterns that still play out in our lives today. We are not merely isolated beings. We are participants in a grand unfolding narrative that stretches back through time, echoing with the voices of all who came before us. The language of this grand narrative is symbolism. Jung understood that symbols are not mere arbitrary signs. They are living expressions of the unconscious, bridging the gap between the known and the unknown. A dream image of a snake, for instance, isn't just a snake. It could symbolize transformation, healing, danger, or wisdom, depending on its context and your personal associations. Symbols speak to us on a deeper level than words, bypassing the rational mind and stirring something primal within. They are the Rosetta Stone of the psyche, offering glimpses into the mysteries of our being. Think of the universal symbol of the mandala, found in cultures across the globe, from Buddhist sand paintings to Navajo healing rituals. This concentric circle design represents wholeness, the self, the harmonious integration of all aspects of the psyche. It is a visual representation of the individuation process, a journey towards the center of one's being. Engaging with symbols, whether in dreams, art, or ritual, allows us to access levels of understanding that logic alone cannot reach. It is a way of communing with the deeper wisdom of the unconscious. And sometimes, in this profound engagement, something extraordinary occurs: synchronicity. This is Jung's concept of meaningful coincidences, where outwardly unrelated events occur together in a way that suggests a deeper connection, a non-causal ordering principle at work in the universe. It's that moment when you're thinking of an old friend and suddenly they call, or when you stumble upon a book that perfectly answers a question you've been wrestling with. These are not mere chance occurrences. Jung believed they were manifestations of the unconscious communicating with the conscious, guiding us, affirming our path, or drawing our attention to something significant.
They are the universe winking at us, reminding us that there is more to reality than meets the eye, a hidden order beneath the apparent chaos. These moments of synchronicity are like signposts on the path of individuation, affirming that we are not adrift in a random universe, but are intimately connected to a larger, meaningful pattern. They invite us to pay attention, to listen more deeply, to trust the subtle currents that guide our lives. The journey to unveil your authentic self is not a linear progression, nor is it a destination to be reached and then forgotten. It is a continuous spiral, a cyclical process of descent and ascent, of confronting, integrating, and evolving. It requires immense humility, a willingness to admit our imperfections, and an unwavering commitment to truth, even when that truth is uncomfortable. It is about embracing paradox, the light and the dark, the order and the chaos, the masculine and the feminine principles within us. It is about understanding that true strength lies not in denying our vulnerabilities, but in embracing them. Consider the words of the ancient Greek oracle at Delphi, "Know thyself." This was not a mere suggestion, it was a profound imperative, a recognition that the ultimate wisdom lies not in external knowledge, but in the deep understanding of one's own inner landscape. This self-knowledge is not acquired through textbooks alone. It is earned through lived experience, through the willingness to confront our pain, to listen to our dreams, and to integrate the disparate fragments of our being. It is the heroic quest of our time, not on battlefields or distant lands, but within the confines of our own psyche.
The true revolution begins within. It is the quiet rebellion against superficiality, against living a life dictated by others' expectations, against the tyranny of the unexamined life. It is a conscious choice to strip away the masks, to shed the layers of conditioning, and to stand naked in the presence of your own truth. This act of unveiling is not about becoming flawless, it is about becoming whole. It is about integrating the shadow, embracing the archetypal energies within, and allowing the genuine self to lead. This is not a journey for those seeking easy answers or quick fixes. It is a path for the courageous, for those who are willing to descend into the underworld of their own psyche, knowing that only by facing the dragons within can they reclaim their stolen gold, the gold of their authentic self, their unique purpose, their inherent wholeness. And as you embark on this profound excavation, as you listen to the whispers of your unconscious, as you integrate the parts of yourself you have long denied, you will discover an inexhaustible wellspring of creativity, resilience, and wisdom within. You will realize that the greatest power you possess is not in conforming, but in becoming unequivocally, unapologetically, irrevocably you. The world does not need more perfect masks, it needs more authentic souls. It needs individuals who have dared to look within, to embrace their complexity, and to bring the full spectrum of their being into the light. This is not just a personal quest, it is a profound service to humanity. For when one individual embarks on this journey of individuation, when one soul finds its authentic voice, it sends ripples through the collective, inspiring others to dare to do the same. So step into the crucible, confront the shadows, embrace the paradox, and emerge not as a perfected ideal, but as the magnificent, messy, glorious, and utterly unique human being you were always meant to be. The mask awaits its shedding. Will you dare to unveil your true self?